So this is a really short one, just going to talk about doors. And what I've got here is this playmat, which I'm using for Dungeons & Dragons and Pathfinder games. And I'm just showing that I use these doors with acrylic bases that I've glued them to. And the idea being that you can easily move them around. They're a little bit less prone to toppling over if you put them on a piece of acrylic. And also the acrylic sort of disappears against the mat too, so kind of win all round, and I prefer that way. These used to sort of topple a lot because those small bases, even though they're kind of a lip, they do have a natural tendency to topple. I have also used these clear style kind of plastic printed doors as well, and they do the job. They are on even smaller bases and do topple even more frequently, but from a distance there, if I put them side by side, they pretty much, they look the part, don't they? There's no real issue other than they are a little bit more prone to sort of falling over, really, than using the sort of sturdier plastic doors. And I'm using the same 3mm acrylic there on other small terrain items. I mean, basically I'm going for a much lighter than my usual approach, which is using some Dwarven Forge and lots of walls and bits and pieces. By using just doors and simple terrain items on here, it's quicker to do. And this is Tensol 12. I've got it sealed away because it's absolute filth. Breathe too much of this in and you're a goner. But it's kind of industrial in strength glue, and it will melt resin and plastics into acrylic. My main issue with these sort of tiles is that generally they're printed to 25mm squares for your classic 5-foot dungeon terrain, and all my bases are that 30mm. You see that round lipped bases I've got there. I've standardised for everything to 30mm, so they tend to sort of stretch over the side, but frankly it doesn't really create any sort of problem when we're playing. You just sort of shuffle things around, you still know which squares they're in. Thanks for watching, and let me know any comments. Particularly interested to know what people feel about playing on open terrain like this, where you don't hide anything. Maybe you obviously you hide the creatures until they open a door, but it's something I've been doing recently, and it's worked out quite well. Obviously it removes some suspense of where to go and where to turn, but at the same time it still felt there was a certain tension in the game without having to sort of fuss with hiding where different rooms were. It becomes a challenge with secret doors, but just sort of worked okay for me. Yeah, so we've got a view on whether a terrain table should be left open just to then populate the contents of the rooms and allow players to explore, sort of half knowing the map really, or would you prefer to keep it hidden? Be interesting to hear your comments.